Hey people, I got some good stuff here. I told y'all that last movie. I was gonna read this next line in John, and I've been reading all day and I haven't even got through it yet. I got caught up on some words here and it got me searching. I done learned a bunch of stuff. But I told y'all before, the word Gog and Magog is to lead and from led. You can see it here, he led. And so it tells you to read this backwards. I was telling you, the N-E actually replaces the B. And so this word in, like I-N, it could be in either direction. If it's an N-E, you replace it with a B, and the B means in. And so it's engage, G-A-G-H, G-A-G-E. Engage. Engage a gagging. He led is actually to engage the gagging. And then the mark telling you to read this. I-A-N-O-T-U-T-O-N. A knot. A-N-O-T. A knot. And then what on? Forced on. A knot and one forced on. And so engage a gagging, a knot, what forced on is led, but it's not a pleasant way. Some horses are real good and they don't even need a set of bits. But there's a fashion, there's a way of stringing up horses, that give problems where you can put a little more pain in their mouth and get them to pay more attention. Strong-willed horses. And they also make these for your girlfriend if her will's too strong. And then N-U-O-O-S. A noose, H-I. A noose, H-I. And then H. Hitches, H-I-H-S. A noose, hitches. And then O-V. And then the O moves over of on. Engage a gag and a knot, what on forced on, noose hitches of on. And it's word number 71, we look at it. And the base word is just A-G-O. But you can see here it's got the little mark up here above the A. And so it's agog, A-G-A-G-O. Agago, agago, to lead. And this word just doesn't even belong in this category. It starts with the A is the only thing it has in common. But it's to lead, to bring, to carry. I lead away, to bring. And when it's here, it's no gauge, gag on. But you see it here, it's, in, and then M-O-G-A-G-O. And from Magog, and then Omen, from in Magog, in from a gag of men, Magog. That's Gog and Magog. You can see it again here when it's starting somebody's words. In ma, G-A-G, Gog, a gagomen, in from a gagomen. Let us go. Let us rise up and let us go. You're being led is what it means. Gog and Magog. And so I got a comment from Kim Keenan. And, I don't give up my love much, but I had to give it some love. I liked it. But she let me know that it was that devout Catholic Christian parents, that was caused her to awaken. And the same thing is George Carlin. You see that old Denny Patrick lets you know that he's Irish. George Carlin, he had that young Catholic upbringing, and that's what awoke him. It's just so far off that, some people are Gog, some people are led, and it wakes some people up. And I also was born into the Catholic family and went to the Catholic Church for the first 10 years of my life, 11 years. And they couldn't answer any of my questions. And I'm thinking, the Catholic Church, maybe it was a good thing at one time. Maybe these teachings were designed just to wake up the the top. And then the rest of the people, they're just such sheep, they need to be led. They need the gag in their mouth. But yeah, none of the story ever made sense. I've picked figs, and I know you don't make underwear out of figs. None of the story made sense to me. And people just bite down on that hook and get led away. And so God bless our Catholic parents. And so if you're new here, I've did this long enough. I figured out these Illuminati codes and what all these marks here, and they're telling reading directions. And these 3 marks here, tell me to go to the other end of the word and read it backwards. And so that's why I'm reading this like this. And this mark here means to grab the last letter and put it in front. So I'm reading this backwards. The N-E, replace it with a B, and the B means in the ancient language. And the reason I call this the Illuminati Code is because I read enough of this today. I found out all these writings about John have to do with time, and it's talk about all the different owls in here. So this next word, they tell me to read it backwards first, and then back the other way. And we can read it right up here. S-A, so, S-P-E-L, so spell, B is in. So spelling 'em humble possess. So spelling 'em humble possess. To make 'em humble, put some pain in their mouth. And the B is the V, so that might be read, so spell of 'em humble possess. And then this word here, it's difficult. It's got several marks in it that give reading directions. But this lets you know to read the A and come over here. And this mark here lets you know to read the O, but turn around. But the mark up top tells you to grab this T before you turn around. And so you're reading this A, O, T, and then you turn around. You go to the other end of this word, but this A is now cut off with this apostrophe. And so you're reading it to A, O, and then T, and then the other way, U, T, O, and then this has you turn around and read it back here, but this has you add another T. And so it's A, O, and then T, and then you're coming the other way, U, T, O, and then T, T, U. And it's Alpha, Omega, 2, T-U, T-O, T-T-U, to 2 to 2. The Alpha, Omega, 2 to 2. Alpha, Omega is the owl. Asia Atu, long-eared owl. This tutor and 2. And that's what this whole chapter I've been reading has been about owls. And I went other places chasing this word John today. The one they say is John. It looks like Joanna. But it actually reads backwards, and it's Wana, and then Oyo. And Oyo means to straighten. Want to straighten the Ana, the time. Want to straighten the time. And that's what it was, is it precession of equinox changed the time. And these are the writings of how to straighten it back out. And that's why he's renaming things all through this chapter. Giving everybody a name and telling what their name means. And that's actually the word for the disciples or the apostles. The math tie. The mathematic was the astrologers. And so the math tie is your disciples, the ones that understand the numbers. So engage a gag in a knot what on forced on, noose hitches of on, so spell of 'em humbles, possess, Alpha Omega 2 to 2. Who, 2 O's here, H-O-O, who, like the owl. Whose, Voos, V-O-O-S. Line says 2 O's, V-O-O-S. Whose Voos, hitch, su, you, and then as, add another O. Whose voos hits you as? Hits you as. N-E-N-N. And then the pie. P-I-E-P-E-N. In the piping. And so, whose voos hitch connect Sue is you. Voos means immoral, rotten, corrupt, evil. H-O-O-S. Whose voos hitch Sue. Hitch you as O-S as E-N-N and the P-I-E, the pie. This tells you to reach over and grab this E, although you turned around. It would regularly just be P-I-P, but this is P-I-E-P-E-N, to piping, the P-I-E-P-N, piping. Oh, Dutch, to squeak, to squeal, to wheeze, German, all of the ancient languages, same meaning, to squeak, to wheeze. And that's what you do, when you when engage a gag in a knot, on force, for, P-R-O is for, you're pro something, you're for, ston, S-T-O-N, forced on, when a knot forced on, the noose hitches, and this could be hitch you on, to hitch you on, to hitches of on. It means the same thing either way you read it. So spell of mumbles possess Alpha Omega. So the Alpha Omega done mumbled a spell while he was hitching you up. And this is the spell. This is the red letters of the words of Jesus. It's what they say. But you see what Jesus is. Alpha Omega, the two to two, the teacher to. Who's the hour? Who's voos of the evil, rotten hitches to hitch you, to hitches of as in wheeze, in the piping, in the wheeze. And you can see this, we go to this red letter Bible, this Berean, I believe I have it red lettered. Yeah, you can see the red letters, the 3 times Jesus speaks, ties it in the arches to appease it. And right here, this is the red letters. This is what was said up to here. And so this is the spell, the evil spell that hitches a gag on. So we grab this spell and we put it in translator and let it detect. It detects Greek, but it doesn't translate it. It doesn't translate it from Latin, Spanish, English. And that's because this is the most embarrassing line in the Bible. But what it says is Sui. Sui. That's S-U and then E-I. And the line tells you to read the E again. And then the apostrophe tells you to read the I again. So it's a S-U-E-I-E-I. E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald.
Come on, piggies!
And then Simon Ho Vios. Vios con Dios. They say it means to walks with God. Vios con Dios, the God. Vios, to walks. And so the pig Simon who walks. And then backwards, wanna. Wanna is a polite way of saying shit. Bat wanna. It's your best fertilizer. And then oil, O-I-O, means to straighten. The shit straighten. Anno, the year. And that's the only word that you get to translate in Google Translator. This is the only one when I put it in, when I broke this all down and put it in the letters, it went. You can see that the year, the anno is the only one it would translate. That's the only one it recognized. the shit to straighten Oya, to straighten the year of, Oya is Finnish in Galatian. It's indicative present causative form of Okoy, meaning to straighten, to correct, to rectify. And you will be called Cephas, which means Peter. Simon Peter. That's also Saint Peter. Simon Peter, Cephas, Peter the Apostle. And that was the first bishop and pope. And he was often pictured riding a pig and leading it around with wana. He had shit in his left hand, and he was leading the pig around. And the poor people praised him for leading the pig around with shit. And you can see some clues in this old artwork. The luster like shin build, walk, the paws, P-A-V, the poor, the pavos, the poor in it, concile, van, I believe that's son, the son of Witga, and you see how the angelic is split here, the on and the angelic. And so they were trying to wake people up a long time ago. But what this means, the rat is the beginning and the pig is the end and the new beginning. This is your Alpha Omega. The Alpha is the rat and the pig is the Omega, the end, the beginning and the end. And then you start in another lap. And so this old boar constellation was known as the legs, to walk. Either represented the foot of a walking person or a wild boar. The Pisces. It was an ancient once a year celebration for the Nordic people. And so it's the pig Simon who walks how the shit, the wano, to straighten the year. Sue, you're call it this, and then says it talk. The call it that says it talk. Kephas is the way a lot of people were reading this, but actually the Q goes on the other end and it changes the number value. Kephas who hear men who it tie. And in the Greek they usually say this is meaning in the future. Anything with it tie in it. And it tie in the future at who income repeat. Repeaters. The repeater as. To come around again, the repeater as. And so this Simon here walks, and they got this for son, and when they confuse, the walks how, von, that's your German for son, your Nordic language is von, the son, but the von are the shit of. And you will be called the Kephas of here men who it tie, in the future, at who income repeater as. So I really miss my Google Sky that had the overlay map. This is Cephas here, and it's also Brahma. So anybody knows how I can get that Google Sky with the overlay map back, let me know. So this is our North Pole star now, and this is Cephas here, Kephas. But this was our North Pole star at one time. Everything is spinning around here now. And so when the Bible was first written, and this was the North Pole, this was the Omega, this was the end of the cycle, this was the beginning of the cycle on this side. And so this was Simon here, and you can see it right here, WR, where, and this SAMIN. This was the Simon, where Simon R. And so when everything was spinning around this point here, and Simon was here, since then all the math wasn't working, because when they rewrote this New Testament, now the North Pole was here, everything's spinning around here, and so where this end was is now Cephas. And so Simon, your name is now Cephas. And it has nothing to do with names, it has to do with the number values. Simon is now Cephas. And so by changing the names in these positions of the stars, then they could still use the same old book, but you had to know how to recognize the changes. So engage, a gauge is a tool to gauge something. Engage a Gogalac automaton. All these old tetragrammatons. These were all tools to help gauge where the sky had moved, where the change was, and now the letters were in a different place. And so you had to do some math to figure it up. And people that didn't understand it, they turned these all into magic symbols, and that just means that they didn't understand what they were. But it was just tools, it was gauges, it was slide rules. All these circles were separate, and you could rotate it to help you get your math back straight, because it wasn't as easy as it once was. And they're all matons. That's what that means. In the gauge and leading an autoton. Forced on new, N-U, the cycle connected, a new cycle. The new who, two O's. The new who such, each is of on. So spell of mumbles, the space. This psi, sometimes it's PS and sometimes it's SP, and they're not sure of that, or the Z. They don't know how it turns, and I'm sure it's just the letters before and after that tell which way to turn this PS. Of the beginning and end mark, the to teach you. Who's voo's, who's evil is what it became to be known as, and it's only evil to the people who didn't understand what it was. Anything that Christians don't understand, it's evil to them. Who's voo's, who's evils, the hitches of as, in the pie, in the circle pen, in the circle of the pen of the animals going around. Sui, the pig. Simon, which was once Ursi minor. So it doesn't matter which side the I and the O are gone on, because it still gives the same number value in here. And the pig Simon, who walks how. And the pig Simon who walks how. Wanna. So not necessarily shit, but wanna. I want to straighten. Anna of the years too. And so when I figured out that was wanna, that's why I went looking up that John. I got 100 more tabs opened up. I found a whole bunch of stuff. But I was looking for the word Mary in front of it. Mary is to happy. Marijuana. You want to be happy? Get you some marijuana. And your call it says the talk of Cephas, who hear much in new it too in the future, at who in come repeater, as the one that keeps coming around to repeat another year.
Don't forget, hooty hoot, hooty hoot. I won't forget.
Alright, I'm gonna cut this off here. Good day.